Welcome back. I'm your Santa Barbara web guy, and today I want to talk about merchant services and how to protect your business. One of the most difficult things to experience is a chargeback on a credit card purchase that somebody made, and you want to consider what the appropriate payment methods are for your type of business and the payment methods that your customers prefer. But you also have to consider when selecting what the risks potentially are. So if you have high ticket items or services, for example, you got to be aware that if the customer doesn't get the end result that they're looking for, it doesn't matter how hard you've worked, they can actually claim that they didn't get what they paid for. And the credit card companies, whether you're using Square or Clover or Stripe or whoever these, the different merchant services might be, they actually have a contract with Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and the guidelines from those primary networks are going to dictate how the merchant service provider, has to handle the claim or the issue. And most times they're going to side on the favor of the person whose card was charged. And so what will happen is, let's say, for example, that you sell a $10,000 consulting service and you charge a credit card, and then the person who purchased it decides that they weren't satisfied or didn't feel they didn't really get the result that they want. They can actually protest that charge. Now, under the terms of the card services, they're going to reach into your bank account before you even know that a dispute has been filed, and that money, they're going to attempt to grab that money out of your bank account. Now, that dispute, you may not even be notified in time to respond, depending on the type of service. So if you're using a service with a bank, for example, sometimes the banks are using a merchant provider that's on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, you only have 10 days typically to respond to a claim. But if that notice doesn't even show up until the seventh or eighth day, or even after, you may miss that window to even file a response. But just keep in mind that even if you file a response, odds are that carrier or merchant service provider is going to side with the terms of the contract that they have with MasterCard, Visa, and they may have no choice but to refund that person, which means that then the only recourse you're going to have is either reclaiming the service or product that you provided, or potentially suing somebody. Now, this is a little bit different if you're doing e-commerce and it's a physical product, but you still have to have proof of delivery. So let's say that somebody orders a mouse or a keyboard or a computer from you. As long as you can prove that it was delivered to them, and you offer a warranty and have specific terms, you might be able to defend that claim a lot easier. But ultimately, you've got to be aware that this can surprise you. This can be something that affects you, and plan ahead. If you're doing services, it might be easier to collect a check or cash in some way from a customer rather than having a credit card. And then also one other tip would be, realizing having one huge customer can also make your risk lopsided. So if you were to lose that one customer, or they were to have a problem, that could have a severe impact. So you would want to have as many customers as you can and kind of lower those transaction amounts, so that if one thing goes bad, it doesn't upset the whole apple cart, so to speak. So I hope this helps. I'm your Santa Barbara web guy, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.